Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jerry with Dub Bears Talk, and today I'm going to be going over KIRAN AMEGADJIE, and the guy that seemingly on social media not a lot of people know about. I did cover him a little bit in the pre-draft process in my video about sleeper offensive linemen to the Bears, where I actually said that I think he was one of the most likely, and I think potentially best fits for the Bears, one of two players. So very happy to see him go there. We'll talk about what I think about where they got him and that deal there very shortly here. But before we get into it, don't forget to like the video for more in-depth reviews on Bears players, as well as the all draft content. I'm going to do a grade video for all the teams at the end, and I have a first round video that's uploading very shortly here. So stay tuned for that. Comment down below what you think of KIRAN AMEGADJIE, and if you are happy with the pick, or you think they should have traded back, or they should have taken a defensive player. And then subscribe for more. Like I said, lots of other content coming out. But let's just get into the physicals real quick right here. KIRAN AMEGADJIE went to Yale, 6'5", 323, 5'10", 40, which isn't anything, super fast. The big thing is the 36 and an eighth inch arms. Measured on other sites, you can find 36 and a quarter, but the official was 36 and an eighth, for whatever that matters. And then the bench was very low at only 21 reps, so a little weak there. But most importantly, probably for this whole video and why he was in my last video, is he's from Hinsdale, Illinois. He went to Hinsdale Central in Illinois. He grew up a Bears fan. He grew up playing Madden, wanting to use Devin Hester and use the Bears all the time. If you go to his Twitter, there's tweets all over of him, bear down and talking about what the Bears should do. He said, released the whole offensive line in 2020, so a lot of those tweets have surfaced, and his Bears fandom with a lot of us and a lot of our what we experience as Bears fans. You can find the history of that on KIRAN's page, but then ends up getting taken late or his projection was late second from a lot of places. You can actually find draft projections from late second to even like mid fourth. All over the place, and that's for a reason we'll talk about in a second here, but ends up going 75th to the Bears. So what do I think of that? I think that it was good value. I'm curious as if other teams had him on their radar, and of course the Bears have no idea. In a perfect world, and I think in that video when I talked about it, you really don't see him mocking in the late second round. It's really third round, or early third round, or even early fourth is kind of the range where you're seeing most of it. So you wonder, could you have traded back and acquired like a sixth or a seventh and still got him? I don't know. But with the Bears being able to get the guy that they want, a guy that's been a Bears fan, which has been a common trend for Ryan Poles, and they're able to acquire him to play anywhere really except center on the offensive line, I think is a huge addition. So we get him at 75th. Like I said, I think good value there. In a perfect world, you would have liked to trade back, acquire a pick, but you can't always do that. So statistics, through 2021 to 2023, 1,596 snaps, 18 hurries, 5 hits, 1 sack. Now, most of the hurries were actually in his first season in 2021, where he was playing majority right guard. So that's another big key factor for KIRAN AMEGADJIE, is he's listed as a tackle because his last 2 seasons that he played, he was playing left tackle, but he also played pretty much all of 2021 at right guard and had success. That season he had 11 hurries, 4 QB hits, and 1 sack. And then fast forwarding to 2022, where he played another majority of his snaps, only had 4 hurries, one QB hit, and 0 sacks. And then final season, I believe if I'm doing my math correctly, he had 3 hurries, no hits, no sacks. This is the problem though, and this is why he fell down draft boards, is he suffered a partial quad tendon tear 4 games into 2023. And that ended up keeping him out for the season, so people were concerned about medicals. Again, he was still able to run the combine and ran a 5.10, which again is not super fast by any means, but for his size, it is a fair and good 40 time for as far as speed goes. Offensive lineman, I don't think need 40 times very much, especially left tackles. They shouldn't be running at their top speed too often unless their running back is breaking free down the field. But then the pros and cons, he has very strong extension. So with those very long arms, that gives him a benefit that you can't really get anywhere else. I believe he did have some basketball experience, played some basketball with, being the size that he was, probably got too overweight for basketball at the end of the day. And of course ends up becoming an offensive lineman, but very strong and has good control too as well. The only problem really we'll talk about is hand placement, and he actually has fairly small hands for the size of his arms, but the strong extensions give him an ability that you can't teach arm length, and there's not many people. I believe he was the top 92 or 93 percentile for arm length in the entire draft. So huge factor there. Very quick first step that unfortunately sometimes results in missteps, and could be the reason that he gets beat on the end. And I think that's a big part of the reason as to why he's not being taken as a first round pick that could start. Has some issues there, as well as he does have great balance. So if he does make these mistakes up front with a misstep or an issue, he is able to recover from it properly. He also will sometimes bend a little bit too much at the hips, causing him to lose leverage, and then giving the defender the advantage moving forward with that snap. And then the biggest cons, which I hate these cons, really the main two cons are he's coming off injury and he played at Yale. So he wasn't going up against the greatest competition. He also wasn't in an offense that was super duper pass heavy, which, he's coming into an offense that presumably is going to be more pass heavy. We don't know that for sure, but we could assume with Caleb Williams, all the receiving threats that we have, that it would be a little bit more pass heavy. So that would be interesting to see here. We talked about the hand placement a little bit. He had smaller hands at 9 5/8, which is not like super small. It's just small for his size, and that can affect being able to get your hands on the defender you're guarding, which is a very key first move, I guess, to controlling the defender to make sure that he can't get around you. He also does struggle sometimes with, when he gets his arm swiped, finding the replacement of the hands. And that can be an issue. So something that a defensive lineman's going to look at tape if they're going up against him, and they're probably going to know, if I swipe his hands, I'm good. And that'll be something that he has to work on. A very simple thing too. With his biggest issues with the game being his hand placement, his hand size, and sometimes making the wrong steps. I think those are all very fixable things. You can't stretch out your arms to be longer, but you can get to the bench and work out and become stronger. That is a problem to see, though, is 21 reps on the bench. You look at being a left tackle, Braxton Jones' biggest issue right now is his ability to guard the bull rush. Having a lot of problems with just getting beat. And somebody that's just stronger than him, they could put him in the dirt that way. And that was really his only flaw, Braxton Jones, last year. So if you see some of those same things with KIRAN, I think you definitely could understand as to why that's an issue. It's also not just all about bench press with that. That's actually more legs than anything. And he did prove to be very explosive, and being able to get that first step and that first contact on the defender is going to be more important than anything. So I think that is a good deal there. But let's circle back to Hinsdale, Illinois. So he grew up a Bears fan. We talked about playing Madden with Devin Hester, but he's just been a Bears fan all of his life. You can also bring up he met Matt Eberflus at a golf course I believe he was with his father. And he went and saw Matt Eberflus, had a conversation. Eberflus did not know who he was, but KIRAN told him, one day soon I'm going to be in your office, and the following year you guys are going to be drafting me. And look at what happened. He had a dream and he made it come true. But I just love these stories about these guys who really needed, they grew up as a fan for the team, and now they're playing for the team. That offers a heart that you're not going to get from somebody that's coming from Green Bay, Wisconsin, or any other part of the world. That isn't a fan of your team. I think every kid's dream, if you are a pro football, a pro football fan, would be to play for their favorite team. So he's getting to do that. I think that's more incentive to be successful. It's been a trend with Ryan Poles since he got here. Biggest names being T.J. Edwards, Jack Sanborn, Cole Kmet, and I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting about. But I do love that factor, and I love that that just extra piece of information as to how important playing well for the Bears is going to be for KIRAN AMEGADJIE. And finally, I'd like to talk about his flexibility. So we talked about 2021. He started most of that season at right guard, gets moved to left tackle, and then stays there for the rest of the season. We're in a situation where people think Braxton Jones' job is on the line, again, mainly because of his bull rush issue. I don't see him as much of the problem as a lot of other people, but I think for me, it's having that drive now that, oh, there's a guy that could come in and take your spot. I'm hoping that can help him. I do, every time I talk Braxton Jones, I bring up his pass block win rate last year was 5th of all linemen, all tackles last year. And that stat is measured by holding your guy for 2.5 seconds or more. Not holding him, but having him in front of you or controlling him for 2.5 seconds, which is really all you should need to do. But when you have a guy like Justin Fields holding the ball too long, that can cause an issue. And it's really any quarterback holding the ball too long. Obviously, Caleb Williams has had that issue, but he also has showed that he can play on timing and make those throws. So we won't get into the Fields Caleb Williams conversation anymore. But yeah, I really like his flexibility, especially because if he doesn't beat out Braxton Jones for the job, we have 2 guards who have proven that they are injury prone. And I think with the flexibility for him to play at both of those spots, you basically have a swing guard and a swing tackle. He's kind of like a sixth man, if you will, for the offensive line. They don't have those, but in the NBA, the sixth man is the guy that's probably going to play the most time off the bench. That's what KIRAN AMEGADJIE is. If he doesn't get a starting job on the offensive line, I will guarantee you he is going to get time, whether it be at guard or tackle this season. I think he will fill in, and I think he will be a good Bear moving forward. So I really like the pick. Again, I think it was interesting because early on we actually saw him as high as like early to mid second round as far as when we were talking before his injury. That's kind of where he was put, and he won first all team back-to-back years too, even with the injury. So I think getting him at 75 is very worth it. But with the injury, a lot of people had moved him back a little bit farther. So again, I think you might have been able to trade back and get him. But I really love the player. I love the fit. I love the soon-to-be chemistry with the team that he's been a fan of all his life. And I would probably give the grade for the draft pick. I'd probably give it. I'm between a B+ and an A-. Again, really just because of the value, and he is still coming off of an injury. He did play against some lower talent, but I really like the pick. I'm very happy about it. I told you in the last O-line sleepers video that he would be in play for a third or fourth round, or for our third or fourth round pick. So let me know what you think down below, and if this helped you learn a little bit about KIRAN AMEGADJIE, I'd appreciate it, because it seemed a lot of people wasn't really sure what was going on with him. So thank you for watching, and bear down.